Hello, kids, and welcome to the Domestic Disturbance Podcast. 3 comics, 3 opinions, 1 shit show. Featuring Mike Keegan.
Are you just going to talk over me the whole time? Is that what you're going to do? All right, thank you. I hope you enjoyed that episode. Thank you very much.
Carla Oakerson.
I tolerate you. I think I tolerate you very well.
Tolerate me at all.
I tolerate you. Believe that. I certainly tolerate all your horse shit. Look at me, I'm being tolerant right now. Look how tolerant. I'm tolerating it.
And Tim Saliani.
See,
Bill Clinton suicides people. What's the name of my high school band?
Be sure and stop by the Domestic Disturbance Podcast Facebook page to check out any new shows, upcoming events, or to leave us some hate mail. Music from our podcast is from the hardcore band Bore. You should check them out on Spotify and Bandcamp, where you can put a little something in the hat for them and purchase their music like good little consumers. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the arguments.
That's gonna get you sued.
Yeah, for real. Mike, we're live.
Oh, we are live. Look at that. I'm starting to share here. Guys, thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Domestic Disturbance Podcast. You guys are the best. Thanks for tuning in. Before we get started, please make sure you like this and share it with all your friends and tell them to share it. Thanks for listening. Thank you for listening to Domestic Disturbance on Gov's Radio through Governor's Comedy Club.
Is Mike, you freezing up?
You know what's funny? I thought I was freezing. That's so much better. I'm so glad it's him.
I thought I was freezing up too.
Am I still freezing?
You were freezing up. It's so funny because I'm panicking looking at my CPU usage, which I don't know what the fuck that means, but...
Now, if we were funny, when he said, do you freeze? You should do this next time you have someone on. When someone says, did I freeze? Everybody should just be programmed to go.
And I'll just go fuck myself.
Solidarity.
Guys, tonight we have the hilarious Tom Kelly with us.
That's me. You know what? Was I supposed to shut up for a while till you introduced me? I'm trying.
No.
I don't know. Mike was frozen. No. We're very casual.
We are extremely casual. This is just
like a comedian douche move. Like, one of the hosts is frozen. I will take over. I will quit.
Did you notice that the two of us weren't so quick to fucking jump in? So we appreciate it.
Yeah. We were like, Mike's frozen. I guess it's over. Fuck it. We all die.
We just left him out there hanging.
Tim's like, I sent out the invite. I've done my part.
Wow, I'm usually the one that never has any technical problems. That's fucked up.
What are you talking about? You don't even charge your freaking iPad.
It's charged. That's why. Shut up. So yeah, Tom Kelly's here. Awesome comic. We're happy to have him. Guys, if you didn't hear me, please be liking this and share it with your friends. Tell them to share it. And we're going to go. We're going to have a fun show tonight.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button. Tom, how's it going, buddy?
I'm glad to be here. It's nice to be on somebody else's podcast. By the way, if you're listening, folks, subscribe to my podcast. I promise you, I tape ahead of time. So if I freeze, I edit it out and I still have my dignity.
What's your podcast? Is it called the Tom Kelly Podcast?
They're called the Tom Kelly Show at TomKellyShow.com. Thank you for asking, Carla.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Tom Kelly Show on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Venmo, and now Farmers Only. So I am ready to be there for all of you people. Tom Kelly Show. And on the podcast is cool. It's different than what you guys do. It's half self-help, half comedy. I did 10 different group projects that fell apart. And finally, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to name something after me and just do something different every week. You know?
Yeah.
You guys together. You're together, what, a good 2 years now, right?
Yeah. Yeah, about 2 years. And it's brutal.
Yeah. We've only broken up like 5 or 6 times like this year.
Carl and I literally probably this year 3 times broke up over this show.
Like, have you had a breakup yet? Like, have you had a meltdown? Screw it. We're not doing it next week.
Like literally once a month.
In the middle of the show. And then one of them leaves.
Now, can I tell you?
You freaking did it over text message the other day. What are you talking about? Why are you blaming us? Like, you don't have these temper tantrums too.
All the time.
Wait, you cannot quit a podcast on a text or a Post-it.
He
true.
definitely quit on a text message. He was like, "I'm gonna whatever," and then I'm done.
Well, Tom,
Tim.
Carla and I we're dating. So
Wait, you are really dating?
Yeah, we are, and we've literally ended our relationship several times over the show.
And by we, he means me.
Yeah, Carla, yeah, she's broken up with me because I'm a racist and I'm
Wait, Tim, I'm confused. Tim, I need some verification here.
Yeah.
Is Carla actually making love to Keegan? I'm confused.
They hate fuck each other. It has to be.
Okay.
Like, yeah, that's what it is. And I every week relive my parents' bitter 12-year divorce all in the span of an hour.
Well, because I'm just sitting here, Carla, and far be it from me to manage your life choices here. But if I had to fuck one of your co-hosts, it would be Tim every time.
Oh God, thank you.
Man.
I mean, I like Mike better. I mean, for content, comedy,
fair.
and career and hopes and dreams, Keegan every time. I mean, if I'm looking for a sugar podcast daddy, it's totally Keegan.
I'm just a good cuddler, you know?
Yeah.
No, but yes, you are.
Yeah, but I'm not. Like, I don't do that. I don't cuddle or, I don't do any of that.
No.
I don't cuddle or snuggle or kiss on the mouth. I'm really more of a hate fuck sort of girl.
No, then Keegan, I get it.
And like Keegan really is like he's like the softer, like more feminine one in our relationship.
I'm
Like
the
he's
feminine one.
He's the cuddler. He's
Nice.
sweet, and he's like, it's our anniversary, and I'm like, shh.
You just described somebody who's nice.
Oh, yeah, I don't do that. Like I don't do nice. Like I don't.
I'm like, it's our anniversary. She's like, shut up, queer.
What?
No, it's not. I'm just like, when he's nice to me, I'm like, what do you want? Like, why are you being nice to me? What is it? Like, what is it? Just tell me, don't butter me up. Like, just tell me what the problem is. What is it that you want? And he's like, I'm saying good morning. And I'm like, yeah, okay, what?
She's like, you're being too clingy. I'm like, I woke up and said good morning. Jesus Christ.
It gets exhausting weekly. It does.
Yeah, I'm exhausted now. I'll be honest with you. I think the last minute just made me say, what did I just sign up for? And is it worth correcting the language and the sensitivity levels of the last minute here? And you know what? The face you just made, Tim, listen, there's going to be somebody who's going to find this like 6 months from now when my career rebounds. Can I give the apology now?
Yeah, you could definitely cut it off now. Sure.
Can I just say, I know I just bit off more than I could chew right now.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm just going to follow in the awkwardness because I have a podcast to promote. That's why I'm here.
Here's the interesting thing, though. I will probably not be the one saying things that'll get you canceled.
Oh, no. Already Keegan's got me canceled once. Like, I feel like I have to say, dude, you shouldn't say shut up queer anymore, even though you put it into the third person. So, like, no. And actually, you know what? Maybe I could have this correcting moment now and save my career. But in the 21st century, because I feel like Mike Keegan has a chance to perform outside of Nassau County. He is hilarious. Yes. I saw him in Astoria once, and America loved him. And I feel like he is ready. He is ready for other boroughs.
Yeah.
Next, Brooklyn. He's going to cross the bridges.
Tom and I performed in several parking lots over this past.
Oh my
summer.
God, yes. And I got a nice story about you, Keegan. Remind me to tell you about the neighbor story again.
Okay.
If that's good for your listeners. Listen, and Mike's very nice. And you got to realize I love Mike because I've never seen him on stage. So maybe, he does use words like the Q word in public, and I just never knew till right now. And I'm not going to risk a friendship. I'm going to gently correct and move on. So fictitious Carla.
Right. So, Tom, here's the problem. So after 2 years of gently correcting, it just turns into a screaming match where I scream, "You can't say that shit, it's racist!" And then he gets mad at me.
Yeah. Well, we all need more friends who are not Caucasian. Like right now, frankly, if anybody can see this right now, I've been to Trump rallies with less diversity than this Zoom meeting.
You'd be wrong, though, Tom. You'd be wrong, wouldn't you? Because I'm Colombian. Thank you.
Yes, but on the surface,
so I'll gently correct you.
That's what.
Are you 100% Colombian, or how Colombian are you?
I am 50% Colombian, and I am 50% Argentinian. So I'm wholly deportable.
South American.
I'm 100% South American.
Nice.
Or or as Mike calls me, deportable.
Yeah. We met on Angie's List.
Did you? Did you? And
No.
wait a second. Well, let's go. And what job were you looking for? I feel like plumbing. You found her under plumbing.
She was there to fix the cable.
Yes, thank you. That's where I was going, Tim. Thank you.
Yeah.
By the way, and again, I am like, not to be obsessive compulsive and to produce your podcast, but when this show is over, I am making Tim a new Zoom background. It'll be whatever you want. I'm going to go to Google image search and I'm going to find you something besides that 1980s background.
I love this. I use this. I do another show called Shut Up Stupid, and I use this as the background because I love the whole public access thing. Like
it is, and that's what it is. It is so that's the word I was looking for. And this is late 20th century public access. That's what I call that word.
Like a keytar bringing him in.
That's exactly what it is.
A keytar.
It's just all Von Hammer.
Exactly.
So
you know what I thought you just said? I thought you said keytard, and I'm like, we don't say that word either.
Gently correct, just gently correct him.
Gently correct. And I'm like, no. Keytars are awesome.
Well, someone tried to cancel me this weekend at a show. I got a message today from a girl. She's a journalism student.
Can I?
She wrote, what's Tim going to say?
Before you tell this story, I want to reiterate that I know the reason that she's asking you about this is probably not something you should say on air with our guest. Maybe.
Yeah, really quickly, I'm gonna if I could be.
Oh my God.
The views and comments of Mike Keegan do not necessarily represent the thoughts and views of Tim Saliani, Tom Kelly, and Carla Oakerson. Go ahead.
And probably most of America.
Most of America.
Yeah.
And definitely one. Actually, without going into the exact word, I want to point this out for a second. Comedy has been reopened for 6 days.
Yep. And I already got in trouble.
Now, were you in trouble?
Well, I got a message today. Hi, Mike. I'm a journalism student researching a story, and I was hoping I could speak with you. I've seen some comments by people who were present at your comedy show this past weekend who have some concerns about some of the jokes you made, and I'm curious to hear your side. Let me know if you're open to discuss for a 15-minute interview. So apparently there were some complaints after my show this weekend. I was upstate in Brewster, New York, and their concerns were with the way that I spoke about Chinese people and the BLM movement.
Okay, and without me retelling me the jokes, because now I'm very nervous. Without retelling me the jokes, here's my thing about cancel culture. And you know what? I may be the wrong booking for this and may want to bail out soon. Did the joke, because here's what I find about some people with these jokes, is did you express a viewpoint or were you just going for the easy punchline? Like, it's funny, like the world has changed. Like, I feel like we are all, like, you remember the Avengers movies? I feel like we all just came back after the blip and the world is different.
Yeah.
And
yeah, right, exactly.
And there is a responsibility to be a little bit grown. And Carla, you should never have to raise your own hand on your own podcast. Sorry.
If I may, before Mike chases away our guest, I will say, as you know, the most liberal person here, I'm sure, and the quickest person to, you know, point out that everything Mike says is wrong, I will go to bat for him on one of those jokes. On one.
The BLM,
the other one, 100%, he's going to be canceled for it. It's over.
I may be I should have listened to more than one show with you guys. I really loved the beginning of last week's show where you're all just laughing and talking about COVID.
It was our COVID anniversary.
Yeah, I was really like, I listened to about 15 minutes of last week where this was, when I booked myself on this, first of all, Mike Keegan's good friends with my father's next door neighbor.
Is that real?
Yeah, that's true. That's by accident.
What? Wow.
Yeah, I mean, steering the story to a completely different topic. Mike, if you were on my father's block,
yeah,
and once my father's next door neighbor learned I was a comedian,
yeah,
My father's next door neighbor starts going, Mike Keegan this, Mike Keegan that, Mike Keegan this. You got to know this guy, Mike Keegan. Mike Keegan is amazing. And you would think on my father's block, Mike Keegan were a rock star. And now, if you listen to his podcast right now, he is instead fighting with college journalists over jokes in Brewster, New York.
Mike Keegan, I call him the Prince of Long Island, right? Because he's like the Prince of Long Island comedy.
He's incredible on stage. I will say.
You have to know, if you're upstate New York, not even in the city, you're upstate New York. If you're offending people in upstate New York, you know that something is wrong with this joke, Mike. Please.
Well, first of all, the booker, one of the first things he said to me, he goes, "This is like 95% Trump in this audience. Say whatever you want." And I'm not, I'm not.
Who was
I don't
the booker?
talk politics much. His name is Mariano Alvarez. Great guy.
I'm only asking because I feel like there's going to be an open slot that was meant for you.
I think so.
Who was the booker? Corey Lewandowski.
Can I open for you though? Can I open for you? Like,
yeah, listen, we'll take the Keegan show.
I just got off the phone with him. We're cool because I apologize to him if I caused you a headache. I'm sorry, but like I'm not gonna say the Chinese joke because that is stupid and offensive. And,
here's my thought, even on the BLM joke for a second. This is where you need to learn about. We've opened up after the blip. And my thought for you is right now, right or wrong, and I have views that may not be what I want to project into society on the story, but right now they're rioting in Minneapolis. Maybe this is
the first night they started. Was Saturday they started rioting? Was that?
But here's a thought for you for a second, and I challenge you to this. Maybe this is a month or a week or two for white guys to just shut up and listen for a few minutes. I mean that for real. Maybe my charming, great-haired, slightly overweight, but incredibly cuddly friend is not the person I want the opinions on Chinese jokes right now. Maybe I don't need Mike Keegan, the most Irish man in Nassau County, to tell me about the plight of a black man right now.
But the BLM one is it's self-deprecating. It's not. I even end the joke with saying how much I support the movement, but they don't want to hear that. They just
but also nobody wants. Yes, that's the point right now. Nobody wants to hear it right now. Your joke could be the most well-crafted thing. Like, I can't tell you how many jokes I could have written for Chris Rock. And when Chris Rock would read it, and not that I had a great Martin Luther King joke. In the end, like 10 years later, Chris Rock did something similar about how there should never be a white sale on Martin Luther King Day. Anyway. I say it. It's like, Tom, you are disrespecting a icon. Chris Rock says it. You're a genius. You can't pull it off. That's what comedy is to some degree. And I'm just going to go with this right now. Right now, you even saying, "Let me tell you the BLM joke." We can be talking about anything, but unless you have something incredibly original, and I doubt we do. Right, Tim? Tim just rolled his eyes.
Hang on a second. Is anybody else incredibly turned on by Tom right now? Is it just
honestly, Carla, I feel like I may be able to pinch some in for you.
Anybody else really?
I'm halfway between agreeing. Like, I agree with every point that Tom's making, and then the other half of me is old school Long Island. Like, I got to defend my friend here. Like, what's going on?
Oh no, but there's the thing. I love your friend. Again,
I know.
Right now, your friend is a great heart. I just feel like the problem with listen. I'll tell you one funny thing about me. I grew up in Massapequa, Long Island, which is like the rich version of growing up in Alabama, 1948, in a lot of ways.
Yes, it is.
In a lot of ways. My family came out from Brooklyn in the mid 80s during what they call white flight, blah, blah, blah. The neighborhood was getting rougher. Brooklyn was getting rougher, blah, blah, blah. And honestly, had I not gone to a private school on the North Shore, I don't think I would have met a black guy till after college.
What school did you go to?
Long Island Lutheran, which was probably 50-50 with one Asian for 1 year. That's it.
Tim just got an
What's that?
Tim just got an erection. He's Lutheran.
Oh, good. Yeah, and I'll tell you something. If I thought about converting, but there's something to be
Davey
said.
And Goliath. That's the pull.
Is that what it is? They're very big on that one, right?
That's them.
Yeah.
That's them. That's the Lutheran Church.
You know
They're big on immigration too.
I'm starting to wonder if Tom Kelly is even a real person or just Carla's inner monologue when I start.
But there's something to be said. Listen, we could go a few different ways. I don't want to tell you what to do as a comic because I know better men than me have tried. But
yeah, me.
But I don't know. But talking to you as a person right now, if I can, and I can already, is anyone reading the comments on the live stream? Are we getting hate mail on this?
Yeah, somebody's offering to butter me up.
Wow. Okay. Why could we?
Well, you guys talk. I'll, whatever.
Yeah.
Let me go butter it up. Let me go. I'm gonna read the.
But there's just something to be said about right now. They call it tone deaf, Mike, because I think you are a good guy, and I think you probably, if you met a black person, you might like them. And honestly, if I had not gone to a diverse high school, I don't know where I would be on a lot of opinions in life. But I feel like when you make friends with somebody who's not you, like if I knew a Colombian Argentinian, I would suddenly be more sensitive to the pale-skinned Colombian Argentinian needs.
Right.
Yeah. Like suddenly I care a lot about anything she has to say, Carla has to say, and her people and her plight, and I don't know. And I think the one thing I say for sure is, listen, I'm from a neighborhood of cops and firefighters. I tend to err on the side of defending cops, and that's going to get me hate mail. But maybe right now, this is the week to just shut up, let everything unfold. And then we could talk about it in a week or two, because there's nothing good, even if you say the smartest thing, even if you recite a Kamala Harris script right now, nobody's going to want to hear
it. You said the smartest thing, though.
Well, yes. And you know what? I agree with you. I'm not a big Kamala Harris fan myself. But if Kamala Harris wrote a monologue for you to read in front of people, they'd still hate you.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
So, I mean, geez, and you, I don't know. But are you going to take, without getting into the contents of the bit, are you going to call the reporter?
No, you know what? I was going to. I spoke to her. I told her, tomorrow I'm available. Then I was talking to the booker, and I don't want to give him any shit. I mean, he only books that one room.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't mind if you do it, but he's like, I don't want to take anything out of context, and then people are going to stop coming to my shows. So I just told him,
dude, I mean, and this is something that I say to you right now, without knowing what the joke was, and just knowing, I think deep down, you're a fucked up, decent person who needs help, is don't dig it deeper, because that girl could look up your podcast here.
That's what I'm saying. I had a thing like 2 years ago where I got banned from a theater on Long Island, and that was in Newsday and shit. And so he's going to probably look that up, and it's going to,
Yeah. And here's a challenge to you too. Now that you've been banned from 1.5 places, public. I say this about me telling political jokes, and maybe you can decide if it applies to you.
Yeah.
When I go on a political rant, I find I go up the center and I alienate my fans on both sides. And that in the end, I am no longer funny. Like when if I told a joke about, I kind of like Trump, but he's wrong on this, or whatever the joke is.
Yeah.
People will, and again, I don't mean to totally dominate your podcast, but I'm trying to get you all, I don't know, man. I think there's something about, listen, whatever happened in Georgia, we could argue about whether or not it was Asian hate, but there is a feeling in America right now that Asians don't feel good.
That is true.
We could argue about those 8 people. I don't know. I could go, I think that was a crime against women, which is there should be a whole other set of people protesting, because I think it was a crime against sex workers. But you know what? At the end of the day, I don't know what was in that man's heart, but I do know in the heart of my Asian friends in New York, they don't feel safe or loved right now, because Trump didn't clarify when he was calling things the China virus to be all wah, wah, wah. And I don't blame it all on Trump, but whether or not there's an impression that this disease originated in Wuhan, Trump got so hung up on whether or not I could call it the China virus. He did not stick up for the Chinese American people, for whom he loves.
Yeah.
you know, and Chinese people, listen, there's Asians getting their ass kicked on the subway. I saw one with a homeless guy going off on a 3-foot tall Asian lady in Central Park. I'm not saying, even if it's not real, the perception is real, and good people don't feel good. And with my African-American friends, you know what? I have very rich friends who have told me stories about how they get pulled over and get treated differently until they drop who they know.
Yeah.
You know, and listen, and I'll go the other way as the son of a firefighter. You know, cops can be dicks to white people too. I've been in a few rough spots where the cops, I don't want to say rough me up.
People can be shitty to cops. I mean, people are just shitty to other people.
Yeah, there's a lot, but I think as a comic right now, unless you have something so original and so fucking brilliant, and I promise you, you do not. No, and I don't either. You know, unless you have something so original, lay off it. You know, and you're right. You are a good man who's been banned from at least one theater and potentially could get banned ever. You know, and I'm doing this intervention. I didn't mean to dominate your podcast. But the reason why I'm actually afraid of stopping talking is I'm afraid you're going to say something really fucking stupid, and I'm going to
start talking. So you keep
going. It's about to a few times, probably.
Yeah.
I've never seen file so much in 15 minutes.
Now I'll go the other way for a second about live comedy, and where I think people aren't smart enough to learn is, listen, dude, you have a whole fucking town of people ready to fucking burn you to the stake, and a Republican town.
Yeah.
Upstate. Brewster voted red, dude, and they fucking hate you. You know, maybe, you know, and I listen, and sometimes, and your tweets are clever, but then there's a thin line between clever racism and just being a dick. And odds are, if you have a town of people who want to burn you at the stake, and you shouldn't be leading up on your podcast when there is press looking for you. Because here's the deal, and let me give you the real deal. We all, listen, if I'm here, I'm not doing that great either, but one day you're going to fail as a comic and need a real job. And somebody's going to Google Mike Keegan and Long Island or something, and they're going to see this picture and they're going to say, hey, is that a younger version of the guy who just applied to be a bank teller? Is this a younger version of the guy who just applied to work in my grocery store? We can't have him. You know, I mean, and it's not, and my thought for you as a comic on cancel culture, because I hate cancel culture, but there's also, I love gently correct culture. And then there's also, dude, you're right. I fucking forgot. I don't even know why I'm on this podcast. I forgot about the Newsday article. That's how much I like you. That's how good a person you are. I forgot you got banned I should not even be here. By the way, if anybody is still listening, I should not be here. And just for your sake, dude, I would delete this podcast. No, for real.
We stopped taping like 20 minutes ago.
Did we?
Yeah.
No, we're live.
No, but this is the thing too. If there is a journalist who cannot get you as a source, and if this is good for the Brewster Times or whatever the hell it is up there, for the circulation of 6 people who still read print, you know, you got canceled by Newsday, and the first thing you do on your podcast is say, and this is why I'm right when I said this. No, just, you know, I mean, here's the deal.
You're right, because I know I'm right, but I shouldn't.
Even if let's pretend those jokes were all well-crafted, perfect jokes that made America a better place, you can't pull it off. Not this week, not this month. And 2, you have 3 bookings. You know how I know? I only have 1. Your career right now, this month, is going better than mine. And you're going to fuck it up.
Yeah, you know, but you know, it's not going to end though. You know, it's not going to end. There's going to be a different thing every week that you can't say. And
well, listen, I'm going to tell you right now. Let's not even make it a thing you can't say. See, you right now, you got your fucking balls and testosterone out. It's not about a thing you can't say right now. It's about, can you be funny on the topic as a comic, which I'm going to say no, just knowing you.
When 198 people like it and 2 people don't, they can go fuck themselves, I think. But, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's also a point, though, right now, and I'm saying this as if you made more friends who didn't look like me, you would say, maybe I'm not moving the conversation forward on certain things. And I'm just saying, if you had a few Asian friends right now, and I'm sure you do, you know, in the center of diversity that is Levittown, You know, but this is but I do think right now, man, is there are people out there, whether it's right or wrong, or for me or you, there are people right now with open wounds, the way you might have felt after 9/11. Like, actually, that's a great comparison. Right now, you as a Caucasian Irish guy, 9/11, you know, my dad retired before 9/11, lost a lot of friends and that day. And I don't mean to wear his flag on my chest because he gets mad when I do that. But my pop, listen, I grew up in Massapequa. I was in the city that day. Anything that was anti-Bush, anti-American, I went crazy for because there were open wounds. And right now, that's how our Asian friends are feeling. And that is how our African-American friends are feeling. And right or wrong, listen, even if you think this guy did this, that guy did that, what it really does is it reminds, like, pick Eric Garner, and I'm making up a name. And if you think Eric Garner could have done things better before things went down, I don't disagree with that opinion. But what that situation does, what you and I might need to learn is whether we're right or wrong on Eric Garner, is stories that are in the press right now remind our friends of incidents that happened in their own lives that might not be, that you might stand up for them for. Is it, you know? And I'm just saying, unless your joke is so brilliant, you know, like, listen, I have a couple of, I had one or two, like I had one funny one that touched the line in a city that actually kind of worked. Which was, I never thought we would live in an age where we would thank Amazon workers before police officers. But that's it. But then I stopped there and then actually apologized to the black people in the crowd for it, you know, and that became funny. And I don't want to go too far down that road because recreating crowd work never helps. You know, but it worked in that moment. And it was, but also too, you know, what's funny, if I am changing the topic, you know what I don't like is recorded comedy nowadays. Like, the one thing that we could learn from a club experience that we don't have anymore in this cancel culture age is a smarter comedian than Mike would say, you know what? I got in trouble for the joke. I'm going to stop telling it instead of doubling down on my podcast until Newsday comes and kills me again. You know, but I think, you know, we've lost the ability to experiment in the room privately.
Well, we are assuming that the Newsday article hurt me. I got a lot of bookings out of it. I looked better in Newsday than the fucking theater did that canceled me.
I don't know. And again, all I remember is Newsday, you were in trouble. And again, what I love is I gave you an out and you went fucking back into it. No, but for real.
I got to defend myself. I mean,
no, what? That was 2 years ago.
Honestly, Keegan, but this is the thing. I forgot about it. And this is where you are a fucking idiot. And I love you. Is I forgot about it. And you had moved on. You're like Kathy Griffin going, hey, remember that time I took that picture of Donald Trump? And, you know, like that is the liberal equivalent of whatever you did. No, but like right now, Kathy Griffin, let's make this about Kathy Griffin. Kathy Griffin, a billionaire who destroyed her own career over a picture I disagree with, that cutting off the president's head was an awful thing.
Yeah.
Whether you voted for the man or not, that picture was awful. And in the end, I hated him, but I really tried to like him. But at the time when she did that, I'm like, Kathy Griffin, you're a fucking asshole. You know? And then, you know what? And then listen, she shut up. She laid low for a while. People started to forgive her. And then she started whining. You know, hey, I got ruined. And you know what? And I'm like, and every time she did that, it reminded me of what she did to piss me off. You know? And I say this as a guy who has gone to shows of her. She's been nice to me. I like her. I want to root for her. And like you, Keegan, I want to root for you. You know, and you have a good friend here who wants to be on your podcast and hang out with you. And in the first 10 minutes of me being on, you're reminding me of why I shouldn't. No, and I think the scary part is, and what I like about you and me hanging out with you, and by the way, is what I don't like about the world right now is somebody's going to judge me. I don't even know what you did to get you in trouble and all these different things. And someone's going to judge me for hanging out with you. But my feeling is
association. Yeah.
Yeah. And quite frankly, maybe that's right. Maybe it's not. But I feel like
But I'm beloved, and people that love me are gonna love you.
Yeah, well, what I would love is if people of differing opinions don't try to elevate each other, we're all doomed. You know, I'll tell you this, and I don't know what's the time limit on this show, Tim, because I'm starting to feel awkward.
No, we got we got 15, 20 minutes, and we're out.
Oh God, I'm gonna make this story last as long as we can until Keegan gets the hint it's time to change the subject. Okay, I'll tell you a nice story about a friend of mine, Father Lou. Father Lou was a Catholic priest. He was actually the guy, Tim, who brought me back to Catholicism.
Oh, wow.
After going to a Lutheran school. He was my college chaplain. And true story about Father Lou. Lou was you would like him. He was a Catholic priest. He looked like a trucker. He was the kind of guy who could say fuck during a homily. He was in the Army, Vietnam veteran, did 30 years, got out as a colonel. And he was the first Catholic priest I used to know who could use the phrase, "These hands have sinned." After I left college, he may have went through a huge anti-gay stage where the Catholic Church, gay marriage was on the docket. The Catholic Church was saying, don't do it, don't do this. And he may have given homilies that chased a few dear friends away from the church. Through it all, there was a kid named Chris Dawson. Before Chris Dawson was older than me, I never met him when I was at college. But Dawson was gay, very manly gay guy. And Father was like, the church loves you even though you're gay. He phrased it like that. Then, and Father Lou was good to him and did this, like Chris's dad died. Father Lou did the ceremony, no judgment, but just, hey, the church says this.
Right.
Eventually, Chris meets a great guy, and Chris kept being friends with Father Lou, even though they didn't see eye to eye. And then next thing you know, Chris has a boyfriend. Father was like, yeah, just, that's still wrong, dude. Okay. It's still wrong. I can't condone it, but I'm glad you're happy.
Right.
A couple of years later, it's like, hey, Father Lou, would you want to come say our marriage? Can't do that. I don't want you guys to think it's the Catholic Church saying you're getting married. Then they say, well, why don't you come as a guest? No, can't do that. And then about a year or two later, again, after what Chris Dawson might have taken as slaps to the face, Chris shows up at Father Lou's house. He adopted a kid, and his husband also was very, very manly, like triathlon shape, like much more manly than the three of us. Father Lou saw that these two guys were raising this kid in a great way. And Father Lou said, holy crap, I've been wrong about this gay thing the whole damn time.
Really?
Yeah. And true story, the last 2 to 3 years of his life, I kind of did a Sundays with Maury thing where I would drive up to see him in Northport every week. And he had me help find the phone numbers of every gay person he possibly offended or chased away from the church. And he called them to apologize. He also apologized to several straight men who were not gay and was insisting they were gay awkwardly.
Wow.
Like me, he's definitely gay.
Father Lou, I got that phone call.
Yeah. No, and a true story, his last outgoing voice message was about embracing love in all its forms without blatantly saying it was about gay marriage. It might have been about gay marriage. But anyway, to anybody still thinking about writing hate mail to me for being on this podcast, my feeling is there's a moment where, if Chris Dawson didn't go into the face of a man who he felt was bigoted against him over and over and over again, this man would not have changed his view. And it took 10 years of patience for that. So I now ask again, 20 minutes later, what's the next topic on the podcast?
I'd like to know where you live now. You're from Massapequa, and you live where now?
Thank you. I'm in the city.
That was beautiful.
Right. Thank you.
It's a great story, by the way.
You know what's funny? I think that was my best work, and I don't want anybody to know what it is.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, it's my favorite story to tell, and it's a true, beautiful story. Thank you for being patient with me and let me tell it.
Of course. That's that is really in a society that progresses, that is what is supposed to happen. Like, you are supposed to learn through empathy. Like, that's supposed to happen. But if you keep putting walls up, you're never going to be empathetic for people. Like, you really just have to have some semblance of appreciation for society. As disgusting as society can be, you have to have some level of appreciation and openness to them. And if you do, you're going to meet some of the best people. That's the bottom line. So you alienate a lot of people when you start delving into that type of, for me anyway, saying those type of things.
And I think the conversation has become a big thing of now, you can't say that because you're this color. You can't say that because you're this. And we're so worried about getting mad that we can't say certain things.
Yeah.
We don't listen to why it hurts people that we say things.
Yeah.
Now,
And
by the way, Carla, you are looking hotter and hotter by the minute. Am I?
And Carla's definitely thinking the same thing about you.
Oh,
and the thing of it is and I'll say it again. And I told Mike when we had a gig the night that comedy reopened in New York, it was the best I'd ever seen him. And I didn't hear any of the other stuff that he said upstate or whatever. Maybe he did, and I just didn't. Something else was going on. But like I watched the set, and he is such a good joke writer. Like he killed it.
Oh, Keegan is hilarious. I don't know. Let's be very clear. I would not have been begging to be on this show if I didn't think Keegan were hilarious. But there's also something to be said about like there's two types of comics. And there's probably 20 different types of comics, but I know of two. There are comics who tell the truth and make the world and change the world. Right. And then there are comics who tell the crowds what they want to hear. I am squarely in the second category, and I'm good at that. And then every now and again, I push the envelope, but I know that I can't. Listen, I would love to be Jon Stewart. I would love to do, not Tommy Lahren, but pretend she's hot though. I would totally listen. If Tommy Lahren is listening, everything I just said, whatever you want me to think.
You can find my tweets at Mike Keegan.
And how quick we sell out. How quick I'd sell out. Yes.
Along the lines of what Tim was saying, I don't want this to be about me because I want to get into some into doing. But I don't get political in comedy. I don't get political. It was like Tim said that night. I was doing my family friendly Long Island act. I did a little stream of consciousness, and the shows upstate last weekend. Said some stupid things, and I got in trouble. I mean, that's I like to pretend like I don't give a fuck, but I said some things off the top of my head, and then I'm like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't, But
and you kind of regret it.
Yeah, a little,
Wait, we say it if you should take this clip and put it at the beginning and say it right.
It's the new name of the podcast.
You said some things. No, because I think you almost did it, and now you're not doing it to give me satisfaction. You said some shit that, by the way, again, America, I do not know what he said, but you regret it and you feel bad. Yeah. A little bit.
A little. One of the things, like the Chinese thing, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, and listen, and I'll even go a step beyond. No, actually, I don't want to even defend anything that I don't even know what you said. You know what? Here's a funny one. You want to know why people are getting into trouble too a lot right now? Is people are commenting on shit they didn't listen to.
Yeah.
Like Meghan Markle. Everybody has an opinion. Want to know what? Like, I know so many people have an opinion on the Meghan Markle interview. And I'm like, did you see it before you give a big commentary on it? You know who's in the royal family before you give your opinion on her?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like any of them. I feel like that family embodies why America seceded from the British Empire.
Yeah, I mean, it's also not a shock that they didn't like the fact that she was a person of color because they literally invented slavery. That family, like the people. I don't know about invented, but I mean, they definitely corporatized it.
And you know what's funny too, and I'll say this: I'm not defending the racism of the British family. Keegan, watch me about to get canceled now. Here we go. This is what but I bet you the worst racist comments came from people who should have died 10 years ago.
Yeah, you're right.
Like if it were Prince Philip at 99, you know what? He lived 15 years past. There was no fixing him. He should have died 15 years ago, and you never should have been in a picture for that dumb remark. It wasn't acceptable then, but you hope that there's more educated people behind him in line.
Yeah.
No, and I saw The Crown. I hate him. I mean, I feel awful, but they did nothing to make that man look redeemable. Am I the only one to watch the credits?
No, he's no pile of garbage.
Carla, you watch The Crown, right?
Yeah, he's not, but I feel like
they really, really like made him out to be just the biggest pile of shit.
Yeah, in every level.
Yeah,
every level.
He likely is, because she's not in a position to do anything about it. And here's where, because women are always made to be accountable for what their husbands do. So she can't do anything, right? If she reacts anyway, she's wrong. And she's the one who's running the country. Like, she's the power there, but she has to just turn a blind eye to whatever he does, because if she reacts, then everything's going to fall down on her, even though she hasn't done anything.
You know what that sounds like to me, right? Internalized misogyny.
Yeah.
Tom really made me turn a corner here, I think, today.
I actually, and I'll be honest with you, you taught me two big words in one sentence. See? Am I allowed to keep lecturing you about comedy for a second too, Tim?
Mike said internalized
yeah, of course.
misogyny.
No, but this is a stupid thought. And this is a stupid thought. There's also another thought before I express an opinion. Maybe that's just because I'm the most successful of the bunch here.
You're right.
By leaps and bounds. No, when you have to make a living at this, Mike, and you'll understand this when you give up golf cart repair. God, by the way, I just channeled Joe Starr for a second. I don't know if you guys are friends with him, but I am Joe Starr for a second. That's a Long Island reference. Thank you, Govs Radio. Anyway, but here's a real thought. Before it comes out of my mouth, I think, will this help me make money?
Yeah, you're right.
You have three. Again, there are more bookers who want Mike Keegan on stage than Tom Kelly this month. And I am questioning life as I contemplate that point. But yeah, you just managed to alienate one of your three favorite bookers.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, right or wrong, was the joke that great? Did you change the world? Remember, I mean, there's something to listen. Lenny Bruce died broke in a gutter.
Yeah.
Bill Hicks needed fundraisers to pay for his cancer at the end.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm running out of, you know, Mozart died insane. and Edgar Allan Poe died in a gutter and didn't get rich till way after he died.
Yeah.
You know, you are not creating anything that great. And if you are, do you really want to die broke? I'd rather die middle income than a broke genius after I died. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to pass on debt to a future generation.
Yeah. Pass on the, you know, well, you'd rather be an artist? Actually, that's a great question.
No.
You'd rather be a broke artist?
No, I would absolutely not. You know, absolutely not. I want to make enough money to not be hassled by anything. That's it.
Yeah. I think there's this moment, I go through it a lot. Listen, I've made my living, and I appreciate you guys not mentioning any of the places I work for Googling.
That happened right away.
In fact, to be honest with you, no need to mention my name when you write the show description.
It's our guest, Com Telly.
Credits have been at the bottom of the screen the whole time. So.
That's fine. Whatever. At this point, listen, at this point, I feel like a missionary who has gone to a war-torn country trying to broker peace.
You really did it. You did dance like the Frisco Kid for like the past 45 minutes. It was impressive.
Listen, and I appreciate you, Tim, Tim's just like, you can do it, kid. You can do it.
I'm literally sitting here like I'm gonna make Eat Lightning and crap thunder.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I don't know, because I don't know, Keegan. This, you know, and this is a Long Island thing. If I cut off all my friends and people I knew who I felt were not a little bit, I don't want, you know, not woke is a better word. Not where I want them to be. I'd have no friends. Am I right, Carla? Carla, bail me out here. Like you're willing to let parts of Mike go into parts of you, even though you disagree with him politically. Why?
Because I think I can fix him, and I have. Mike's leaps and bounds better.
Well, I mean, I think I did the finish. You may have built the house, but I painted it.
Well, I mean, and if I may, for a moment, if we could, go back to discussing internalized misogyny, very interesting that Mike would not have tolerated 5 freaking minutes of me doing that, but he sat there, mouth closed, and just listened to everything you had to say. Is it because you're a white male? Probably.
I think it's because
first of all, he's not dating me, and second of all, he's not snarky and condescending.
Are you kidding?
What? You think Tom's snarky and condescending?
He was certainly condescending a couple of times in there.
Oh, not meant. I didn't mean to be.
A little smidge.
Now I'm being a little condescending.
Like, a little bit. Like you peppered it on there. Like you didn't lay it on thick, but you maybe sprinkled like a little, Salt Bay, like on the top, like this.
Well, again, I think the moments where I was condescending, I was channeling an inner Joe Starr. And again, nothing better than dropping the name of a comic that not everybody knows, but if you do know, you know
him, that you know exactly what you're talking about.
like he's famous to me. Like it's fun. Like, God, you know what? At this point, I don't know I don't even know where the fuck I am anymore. But
I always think that I'll have become famous enough that if I die, Joe Starr will have a story about me to write on social media. That's the level of fame that I need to.
You know what's funny? That's what I think about too. When I die, not even just Joe Starr, but will a lot of people hit the sad button when I die?
Sad button, or a picture of themselves with you.
You know what I love about Joe Starr? I'm trying to explain Joe Starr to your listeners. He's like the old-timey comic, but he was like that his second time on stage.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. Exactly. He's an old vaudeville act, and
not even the act, but his off-stage persona. Yeah. I always love telling. This is a story Joe Starr told me, and I think it's a public domain story. Has he ever told you the Jesus theory of comedy?
I don't think so.
No.
Love telling this story. It's a great story. So about 2,000 years ago, there was a guy named Jesus Christ.
I'm familiar with his works.
Okay, yeah. You might have heard of him. He was living in a town named Nazareth. And one day when he was 12 years old, he wakes up and he says, "Holy cow, I am the Son of God." Okay. And then he goes down to the temple and he teaches a little lesson in the temple, and everybody loved him. And then the rabbi said, "Yeah, come on, Jesus, you're not the Son of God. You're Joe the Carpenter's kid. Get the hell out of here, you scamp." And that's in the Bible, and true story, nobody knows where Jesus was for the next 20 years. It wasn't until he was 33 that stories about him start popping up in Bethlehem and Jerusalem and Syria and Damascus. And then he comes back to Nazareth at the age of 33, and they threw a parade for him. And everybody's like, "Yeah, Jesus, we knew you can do it." And they call that holiday Palm Sunday. So Joe Starr says the lesson here is even Jesus had to play the road. Even Jesus.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. That's totally Joe Starr. There's not a better storyteller, not a better joke teller than Joe Starr. He's awesome.
Now, the Tom Kelly twist on that story is they threw him to parade and then they killed him 5 days later.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to hear the Tom Kelly.
How'd that work out for him?
Yeah. The Tom Kelly addendum doesn't work well to that story.
That's great. You get on that donkey and get in there. Go ahead.
Yeah. Here's a crown for you, Jesus.
I mean, that sounds exactly like the Dane Cook story.
What is that? But all kidding aside, what's the Dane Cook story? I don't know this.
He sold out MSG, and then people hated him for the same reason that they loved him. No, like they crucified him. Nothing. All right, fine. It was a bit of a stretch.
I've never. You know what? I've heard
Dane Cook to Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
yes,
I did.
All right.
And I'm practicing my non-condescending voice on that.
That's what it is. It's the Shure microphone that does it.
You know what? Now, by the way, I love this little. So you guys are all in houses. Like what, Tim? You're in a garage.
Yeah.
And no, but that's awesome. I wish I had a garage. And Carla, you're in a really nice room.
I'm in my living room.
That's nice. Now, did you have to transform? Like, did you have to give up space you would do something else to build a podcasting room? I know.
Yeah.
Obviously, Keegan's in his greenhouse right now.
He's
Where I am, I'm
topiary.
He's in the Keegan Arboretum right now.
I'm in my bathroom right now. I'm sitting on a toilet bowl.
I would
Oh,
believe.
God.
That
Are
is
you
100% true.
It's closed. The toilet bowl's closed, and I have pants on, but I had to plug my iPad in. And
I told you he doesn't charge the damn iPad.
That's amazing.
So, but it looks like, let's just call it the Arboretum from now on.
Arboretum is what was your word? Internalized misogyny. If internalized misogyny is your contribution to my life, I hope Arboretum is my contribution.
There you go.
Oh man! Wow, look at you! You got us through.
You did it.
And I'm gonna hit. And by the way, if they put anything in the end of the show, I was not there for that.
Is there anything you want to promote before you cut out on us? Before we say anything wrong?
We're all gonna do 5-minute sets before we close the show out.
Please don't, Mike. Please, for the love of God. In fact, Keegan, please just don't perform for another year or two, please. No, but this is not like this is one of those things where I'm gonna get Kevin Harted on this. This is my tweet that's gonna show up in 12 years. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna be about to host the Oscars, and then it's gonna be like, Tom, you didn't walk off of Keegan's podcast.
This is just Shane Gillis on SNL.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't. Well, I hope to God it wasn't that.
I don't think it was that.
I'd rather not know. And you know what? I'd rather not know because I know the contents of your heart.
Yeah.
For real. And I don't mean that in a condescending way. Now I'm afraid of saying anything, Carla, but because I know you're a good guy.
It's mostly plaque and
Yes.
You know, listen, as speaking as the second most famous comedian on my father's block to the first.
Now you know what? Now Tom's father's neighbor was a great friend of mine in high school, so I'm sure he has a million stories he probably told you.
So you ready? No, well, I've only met him once or twice. What I like about him is we don't hear him or see him.
He was always a very quiet, but he was like the wild guy. Like when we were in high school, like he was a maniac.
Well, am I allowed to tell you some of the stories he told me or not really? I feel like at this point, I feel like this whole show is about let's dance around Keegan's stories and not commit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You can tell.
So true story. What's his name again? Tim, not Tim. It's Jerry. So Jerry, true story. My mother's best friend bought a house 2 doors away from my mother, and Jerry lives between my aunt and uncle and my mother and father. And let me give the guy a compliment. I've seen him do nice things for my aunt and uncle, like move the trash cans and stuff. I think my parents, his property line, like his house is practically in my aunt's house, whereas we got a good chunk of land between me and Jerry. So I've only he always waves back. Drives a car that's very nice, by the way.
Yeah.
Anyway, he told me that you used to play cards and used to be good at it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow. Do you hear that? That's condescending confidence right there, Carla Oakerson. That's the difference. Did you hear that? I'm like, you used to be good at cards. It's just like, oh yeah. You came on that. I said you're good at cards.
Oh yeah. That's because I'm a problem gambler. That's why.
Are you a problem gambler or are you good? He didn't call you a problem gambler.
No, now I am. Yeah.
Like, what do you lose money on? Cards or bad bets?
What sports? Yeah.
Well, sports are going to disappoint you. Sports are fixed.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, cards was always my thing back in the day.
Yeah. Why don't you go back to that? Because your friends don't get together.
I know exactly. That's what it is. Yeah, we have like an online poker game I play now every now and then, but yeah, I haven't gotten together to play cards with anybody in a long time.
You know, and it's funny. I feel like podcasting is the poker night for men in their 30s and 40s.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
That is 100% right.
Like right now, Tim, you're married?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should be taking care of family things at 10:30 at night, but this is for my career, baby. And that's the only way you can hang out with Keegan.
You could be playing right now.
What are the numbers on this podcast? How many people?
We usually do poorly.
Good.
About 800 a week.
800?
Yeah.
In a row?
throughout the week.
So again, that's the TomKellyShow.com podcast. Podcast.TomKellyShow. And actually, if you enjoyed, thank you for letting me yell at you, I guess. I actually may want to repurpose it because I am doing, here's a funny one. When you talk about what you aspire to be and what you wind up becoming. At one point wanted to be a Carlin-like truth teller or a Johnny Carson type star or a David Letterman type talk show host. Instead, I have somehow became the self-help comedian. Like I wanted to be the fucking lots of chicks comedian. I became self-help comedian. You know, I became the comedian who, like there are some comedians who try to change lives. I give you what you want, but I've become this, like on the podcast, I talk about trying to rebuild my career. And then I come onto your podcast to destroy it.
Yeah, all the progress you've made is.
Well, you need a season 2, you know, it's.
Now I do, make.
I like you, Tim. That was funnier than I gave you credit for with my laughter, just to be clear.
Thanks.
Sometimes I laugh on like you do this as comics. Like I don't really laugh. Like I feel like it's part of being dead inside.
Yes.
That drove us to our performance. But like I just had the biggest laugh at a night and did not express anything. And now I feel shame.
No, you're right. But I know that you are always working on some projects. You have anything? Because I know when we were doing the parking lot shows over the past summer, I know that you were videotaping. I know we were doing the show in Astoria. Any projects that you're working on? Or
the podcast is my passion project. I don't have, and I'm actually, I'll tell you a new joke I'm working on, which really doesn't when you talk about, I thought this was going to be one thing and it turned out to be another. By the way, you want to, I had a list of like lively things I wanted to bring up, like the fact that I wanted to do the podcast with you three in person, but then you told me that's how Tim got COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We usually do it at the studio at Governor's.
It's important to note that I was not there when Tim got COVID.
No, you gave it to Mike. Mike gave it to me.
Carla
Like an STD.
Yeah.
Carla gave me COVID. She was home sick.
There's no proof of that.
I said,
wait,
all right,
but that's how I got COVID. You knew your significant other, whatever we call her.
So I gave you COVID too?
You gave me COVID.
No, Tom?
No,
but
Mike gave me COVID, but not really. A different Mike in my life.
Super spreader?
So
that's how super spreading works. Mike should have known if the girl I'm banging has a cold, I should stay home today.
Probably. I think, yeah, why didn't... yeah, you're right.
I don't know. All I know is I was sandwiched between you and Richie Byrne.
Yeah.
Which is already a horrifying experience. That's basically COVID right there.
But here's where you get into questioning COVID. If I had to pick 3 people who would have died of this at the beginning of it, it's Tim, Keegan, and Richie Byrne.
That's true.
Richie Byrne didn't even get the COVID that night.
No.
Somehow we were in the studio together all night. Richie didn't get COVID that night.
Because I took it all in. I got all the COVID from Mike.
Yeah. So I got a true story. I was very conservative about going out. I lived in fear of, I didn't want to live in my apartment for the year for COVID. I feel like it's a exposed brick prison. But I spent the year hiding at my parents' house on Long Island.
Well, come hang with us. Come hang out with us.
Well, I was only hanging out with people outdoors, this, that, or the other thing. Yep. And to speed through a story, I went to a party in Lynbrook, in Malvern, for 1 hour. I went to the end of a Friendsgiving dinner. All I had was a shot of whiskey and a small piece of chocolate cake. And all 9 people at the party got it.
Really? No shit.
And the weird thing is, and I had it bad. I had after effects. Like I am afraid of getting it again. You would not want, I was very open up until I got it. And the memory, I did not feel like me for a month after.
Yep.
Yeah. A few months after.
And I have an aunt who, God, I'm hoping now she's not listening. Fuck, I'm just alienating everybody. You know what's funny? How great would it be if I survived cancel culture, but still got alienated from my family from
your aunt?
I have a loved one who had a brain injury, and I've always felt like she was never herself again, and that became my fear of, would I not be 100% me again?
The fog, the brain fog was horrific. It
And-
really,
I had the
fear
muscle
that would
fatigue
get worse.
yeah,
until this past August. I had muscle fatigue and
joint pain.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was the only reason why I was considering getting the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, because people who had COVID who were having bad issues with brain fog had reported that they felt better after getting the Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm a year out and I still have really, really bad brain fog. And for me, like I'm still pretty much laid off from work, and I don't think I could come back to full capacity with the way that my head is right now. It wouldn't be possible. I couldn't take on a full caseload. There's no way.
Yeah. What kind of work you in?
I'm an attorney.
Dude, Keegan. I'm worried about this show getting me canceled.
I can't get canceled. I have my own firm.
What kind of law?
I used to do federal criminal defense, and now I just do civil work because I didn't want to do criminal anymore. Yeah, I'm kind of a genius.
Keegan, don't fuck this up. You keep,
Trying not to.
Keegan, you keep using words like internalized misogyny.
Those are actually my words. I say them on the podcast, usually to Keegan.
Okay. Well, Keegan, you just repeat whatever she needs you to repeat. So that way you can go from the fern room into the room with the exposed wood and the nice little sunroom there.
I can go from my bathroom in a basement to a living room. Is that?
Yeah, dude, I don't know. What do you need? What can I do to help you close the deal is what I'm saying. I don't know much about life, but I know this. Men like you and I aren't going to do much better than what I'm seeing here.
I'm a lucky man.
Wait, hang on. Carla, was that condescending? No.
Because it was accurate.
Okay.
There you go.
I mean, that's the walk off right there.
I think that's my way. I think we got to let Carla have
that's the walk off.
Good night, America.
Tom, thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Hey, Tom Kelly Show. Check out his podcast. Check out Tom Kelly Show on Instagram, Twitter, and go on his website, tomkellyshow.com, and follow him. Go to his shows. He's the man.
Yes.
Because he's going to disavow knowledge of all three of us.
That is true. What? Who?
I have a feeling when I go to his Facebook profile tomorrow, it's just going to say add friend.
No, but I'm wondering, God, do I have you unfollowed? How did I not know all this was going on?
No.
Probably.
Keegan says a lot of horse shit. There's no way you didn't unfollow him already, because I unfollow him and I unfriend him on the regular.
But
She unfollows me and she sees me for 8 hours a day.
Keegan, I feel like we can fix you. I feel like this is a great intervention.
You see?
If there were an OJ Simpson dream team fixing me, it's you three people.
Oh, you know what's funny?
What do you mean, you people?
Who's calling you people?
Call Newsday. He said you people.
Okay, so you see, and this is what you keep doing. You're bringing up one thing where you almost destroyed your career. And listen, if you were in any county besides Nassau, whatever happened that got you into Newsday would have canceled you.
Yeah.
For real. Like you're lucky that a guy who owns 3 clubs likes you. Blah, blah, blah. You know, and without getting too into it, and that's the problem. You're likable.
Yeah,
you are.
He is very
Oh,
likable.
Carla, that.
Yeah, you are. But hang on, we are. I think I do have you followed, but the algorithm doesn't show you to me enough.
Really?
Or maybe too much.
Too much. Well, you know what? I always see your stuff because my cousin's always commenting on it. Because
You're Rob's cousin?
yeah.
Did I know that?
I don't know if you knew that.
I don't think I put that together too.
Well, whenever you pop up on my timeline, it's because my cousin said something stupid on one of your posts.
Oh God, he's worse than you. That explains everything.
Carl, you know my cousin Rob. Yeah.
He hates me. They all hate me.
Wait, what's Rob's last name? I'm blacking out. Rob's last name.
Rollins.
Yeah, Rob. God bless you. Talk about somebody. Okay, now I'm gonna be a dick if I say I called him out. So
They all hate me. So like whatever you
no,
do,
but Rob, God bless, goes on every person who posts an opinion that is not right of center. And you want to talk about getting yourself canceled. He has started Facebook wars with everybody on the internet. He seems to have, I mean, God bless. Yeah, God bless. God bless him. You know, like
that's
he
hilarious.
works in the photo selling business without naming his firm.
Yeah.
And God bless. I don't think he could sell his kids' pictures at an art show. God bless. He couldn't sell. I mean, to certain people because of some of his opinions that he's just, and like he goes to your page. That's the problem. He goes to your page and he'll go to your page. Like, God bless. He's alienated a few people in television so much. He could have the Philip Elizabeth sex video and nobody would touch it.
Hilarious.
That's the note to get out. I'm going to leave meeting now.
Watch that.
Yeah, take it, Tom.
That's hilarious. Tom.
Thank you so much, man.
Coming on, man. TomKellyShow.com.
Oh, how exciting is this? Mike chased a guest away.
All right. Listen, it is well be past time for us to fucking bounce anyway.
Oh, this was the best intervention ever.
We had fun.
This was something.
You know, it was so relaxing to have somebody else policing what Mike says. I was able to just sit back, relax, and enjoy.
I was happy to listen to his perspective, and man, that story about the priest. That's
great story.
A good one.
He's a great storyteller. I mean, he's a warm-up comic. He's got a lot of energy, and he's got great stories, and he knows how to keep a crowd, keep their attention.
Yeah,
good guy.
So. Well, we will be back next week.
Yeah.
Same time, same place. Who knows? Maybe we'll have somebody on that'll yell at Carla.
Doubtful. Do you think we can? Do you think we can get Tom Kelly back? Doubt it. He's never coming back.
If we change the name of the podcast to the Tom Kelly podcast, you think he'll come back? I did enjoy having him on. That was really, really cool.
It was fun
of him to come on. And we'll see. Anything coming up? You got this week anywhere?
This weekend, nothing really. Thursday night, I'll be at the Bellport Brewery with you know, guys, on sale now, May 14th at McGuire's Comedy Club. The Domestic Disturbance presents Mike Keegan and Friends. Yep. Tickets are on sale now at govs.com. It's going to be me, Tim, Carla. We got some great comics on the show. We'll be hosting another great night of comedy. So
looking forward to
May 14th at McGuire's in Bohemia. Get some, and then Carla's got one May 21st over there.
And May 21st at McGuire's in Bohemia, we have not Domestic Disturbance presents. It's me breaking off from the boys to do Comedy Wife Productions. We're gonna have a great show for you guys. You're gonna love it. We have Fudge is our headliner, and he's great.
Fudge is the man. I love Fudge.
Yeah. I do. I love him.
Yeah, it's funny. Tim produces a show. It's Domestic Disturbance. I produce a show. Domestic Disturbance. Carla's like, "Fuck you, jerk offs."
I'm breaking off. I'm doing my own thing. I have to establish myself away from you guys.
All right, fly, Robin, fly.
Because the rest of the time, you know.
Thank you, kids. We will see you next